So on on Monday, yes, on Monday we we were discussing upon the on the imbalance and how to rebalance in the walking and also in the sitting, especially and connected with the samatha meditation. As I said, samatha meditation, you need a lot of balancing too. Yeah? But um, also, as I said, the mindfulness factor, they are the important ingredient here. Yeah? Without that mindfulness, no matter what you do, the mind won't able to balance properly, and then the progress will not carry forward. So it's important that we take note of those things. Now tonight also, I'm going to look into the imbalance of the faculties of the concentration, and this one connected with the vipassana meditation. And in vipassana meditation, some of the signs that you're going to see that, oh, your mind is going to go in balance, they are also, in a certain way, you can use it in samatha meditation also. And because the signs are the same, it's just meditation objects are different, but the signs are the same. And the overcoming also some of it can be the same. So let us take a look into it. Today, there's not much of a sharing. There's not much of a sharing. Not much of a sharing of screen. It's only more or less I talk and through from all that, from experience from myself and also from yogis, then we get that, and then this talk come up. All right. Now, when it comes into vipassana meditation, the imbalance of the faculties are more clearer in the sense that you can actually take note of it as part of the meditation object also. It can be part of the meditation object. So you can take note of it. So then when you take note of it by trial and error and also by experiences, then you will kind of know that whether your mind is pushing too hard on the concentration or pushing too hard on the effort, and then how you can able to bring it down. Now, this aspect of the faculties, as I like to remind to all yogis again, that you can able, in the beginning part, you learn about your walking, you learn about your sitting, and then you learn about that. You thought that you master meditation, but but you're only learning a very small part of it. Only you're only learning all the preliminary stuff only. Then later part, as you dwell into the meditation further, then the hindrances, then you have to deal with those hindrances. And then also you have to be master in dealing with these hindrances. Then coming to the third aspect of the development is the balancing of these faculties. And this is another subtle aspect. And we need really have to go through the trials and error, the practice in order to learn this. So here, my job and also the job of the teachers, is to give you an idea, to give a rough idea how these imbalances are happening. But yours will be unique to you. All of us will be unique to each and every yogis. Because each one of us, we have a different character, and a different character, sometimes we push on these mental factors differently. Not all of us the same. The khandhas are the same, sankharas are the same, but how we push one factor to another factor, so all those things, it's very personal. So therefore, it is important that you have to know it yourself. Now, in the in the Vipassana meditation, and also in Samatha meditation, as I said earlier on, some talks ago, we also need to know the signs, that that your concentration it's uh, it's getting a little bit you know go haywire, But you don't actually have to see the concentration itself. You only need to see the signs of the body or the signs of the mind that is happening externally, in the sense, without looking into the concentration itself. Uh, so, so let, for example, during in the sitting meditation, let's say this time you are meditating, and then after that you get startled by a small sound, kind of like it shocked you, it surprised you, as if like when you're sitting and then there's a small little sound, you get very like shocked up. Normally, when you are in a state of balance, even when some small sound arises, your body and your mind don't get the kind of like started to shock up, and then it swings up, and then your body also sometimes you get a little bit of movement there. You were sitting quietly, you were sitting quietly. Suddenly a small little sound come up. I'm not talking about big sound. This is just a small, slight sound, and your body is startled already. So when it happens, when this happens, mostly it shows that you are already in the slightly too much concentration already. So therefore, you don't have to see the concentration. You only notice that your body starts to startle in that way. So this is what we mean by the signs. By the signs. So usually, if it happens, it doesn't happen one time. This startle, Sometimes it is you thought that you want to carry on again, and then even again after that small sound, it gets you startled again. With that is to show that the whole mind is slightly going into imbalance already. Usually the yogis, what happened to the yogis before, is that the yogis tend to hold on to a single object. They hold on to an object, and then is try to note it stronger, and then after that, without realizing that the concentration is started picking up at the background, but you thought that you're still observing things. Then after that, the slight sound comes in, then the whole body jump up. So it shows that the imbalance has already taken place. So even when you are doing samatha meditation also, it also can happen in that way. That means you are concentrating a bit too hard already. So this time, what should you do then? All you need to do is that, okay, pull the mind out from that main object. If you are doing vipassana, pull your mind out from the main object or that particular object, and then go to the whole body sitting, or whole body sitting, or go to a sitting and touching. Go to a sitting and touching. Or usually better is to go into just calm the mind, or rebalance the mind by just taking up a bigger object. So just by taking up a bigger object, the whole mind, it become much more easier. Then when the mind is easy again, clear again, then you go back to your main object, to your rising, falling, to your in-breath, out-breath, and so on. Sometimes also some yogis, even in the pain also, they can be over-concentrated also. Because the pain is a very strong object, and the mind tends to pull it there and try to hold on to it without able to let go on it. And then sometimes after a while, the whole concentration goes a little bit too much. Just remember, right now, when we are talking about faculties balancing, you must realize that all your concentration is at the at the quite strong in this sense. They are strong, they are powerful in this sense. Not at the beginning part of development. So just remember, if you are new, well, this time is that the faculties are strong. So it's a little bit of too much. It gives you all kinds of funny things happening already. You don't see it that much in the beginning part of the meditation, especially if you are a beginner, because the concentration is not strong. Mindfulness is not strong. Every time, mostly what will happen to you is that you will go into a lot of hindrances, a lot of thinking, a lot of sleepiness. This is more what you will go through, rather than all these small things that is happening to a yogi. So just bear it up for those beginner in the meditation. And so this one, faculties one, is more a deeper aspect of this meditation, of the vipassana meditation. So this imbalance is one of the imbalance. So one of the signs is something like that. Okay. What else? What else is there? Now let's talk about a bit on the walking meditation again. Now, even in the walking meditation, some yogis also can, they are because of their concentration, they can able to focus on the object slightly too strongly also. When it happens, when this concentration happens in the walking meditation, usually in the walking meditation, you don't get too much of a over imbalance of concentration. But then some yogis do have that. Once in a while, they will have that. More often than not is the imbalance of the effort factor there. So let's look into the walking a little bit. Now, what happened when the concentration become too much? One of the things is that what you'll see, not what you will see, what you may see actually. What you may see is that sometimes for some yogis, they walk. Then they thought that, hey, how come the floor is opening up as if like my leg go down and then slowly go down, as if like I'm going like 3 feet below from what I'm stepping. Yeah. It feels very strange because after that you go and look at your leg. Hey, I'm still stepping on the ground, but how come I feel that I'm going down into a well, into a perigi like that, into a lubang like that? Then you check again. Hey, okay, I'm all right. But when you walk again, it happens again. So after you walk a few times, you find that sometimes, oh my goodness, your walking also cannot like stabilize. Then something wrong with me. These things happen to me a few times also. Even it happened to me when I was before I was a monk meditating. I was meditating in MBMC. In Penang, and I was meditating under Sayadaw U Pandita, senior, not the Sayadaw Pandita junior, the Sayadaw U Pandita, my preceptor after that. So I was meditating with him. So what's the instruction given to me? Now the instruction given to me was that he asked me, if you feel like that, okay, then go even more slower. Okay, I go even more slower. Now even more slower. Then I find that after that, cannot lah. The lubang seems to be going even more deeper. Like the leg is going down even more deeper. Then I find that cannot. Then I go and after that, I went to tell Sayadaw. I told Sayadaw again. Say, Sayadaw, cannot. This doesn't go deeper. Then okay, go a little bit go a little bit faster, a little bit. Then go a little bit faster, then everything becomes clear again. The whole mind becomes clear again. That sinking feeling doesn't come in anymore. Doesn't come in so much anymore. Then after that, later on, it's getting less and less. You see, it doesn't it doesn't um, it doesn't go one way because sometimes when this imbalance happening, concentration happening. Now, when the Sayadaw asked me to go a bit more slower, is to want me to bring up the effort in order to balance the thing, to balance the thing. So after that, I did it for myself. Then I say that, oh, it cannot work. But then when it cannot work, then you go faster. And then you go faster, and then things work because you reduce the concentration. So here, you see, it's all about trial and error. It's all about trial and error. When later partner, not with Sayadaw anymore, but in other retreats on my own, when I have that feeling again, the sinking feeling again, now this time when I go slightly more slower, take note of it more clearer, then after that, there's no sinking feeling. The whole mind comes into balance again, very clear again. So you see, it's all about trial and error. There's no hard and fast rule. Okay, you must do this, do that. So you must be adaptable, in when you comes into these faculties, the balance of faculties have to be adaptable. And therefore, in the walking meditation, it is easy to be adaptable because there's a change of speed. You can go faster, you can go slower. When you go slower, you can note more. You can go faster again, you note less. All these things, you can learn to how to change the speed in the walking meditation in order for you to achieve the equilibrium, to achieve the balance of the mind. So it is interesting, actually. It is not dull. So when these things happening, now, for some of the yogis also, when during the walking meditation, they may not feel the sinking feeling, but they may feel like the whole building is shaking like that, as if like you're walking on an earthquake like that. You step down, dun, 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 dun. Hey, lift up the leg, hey, nothing. Then you put down the leg, dun, 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 dun. But it's interesting, because again, it shows that concentration a little bit too much. Like when the concentration happens, again, similar thing you can try. Go a bit slower, take note a little bit more, or go a little bit faster, and let's see whether you can able to balance the whole thing or not. So this is interesting. Those experiences are interesting. It may not come in every yogi, but if the yogi try here and there, then of course this type of experience will come in. Different types of experience, interesting experiences. But this to shows that all yogis finally the imbalance, all yogis, the imbalance will take place, no matter who you are. It's a matter of how you balance it, you rebalance it so that your mind can able to progress. So too, like hindrances also, all the 5 hindrances definitely will attack you at one point or another. So it's a matter of how you learn to overcome it. So the faculties also the same thing. So this is as I said, these faculties is a big area that we can cover, and we have covered quite a lot. We covered quite a lot on these faculties. So this is like an interesting thing. Now, during in the retreat, very much I love to talk about these faculties because we are dealing with different stages of yogis. Some yogis are very new, learning to practice, and some yogis has gone through the retreat after retreat after retreat. Then here we got to remind and remind and remind again on the faculties. the background I've seen these yogis in the past. I've seen yogis that if they do not know how to balance the faculties, although they are good at overcoming all the hindrances, but when it comes to the faculties they do not know, they'll end up with a lot of tension, pressure, and an unnecessary type of dukkha, bodily dukkha and mental dukkha also. Suffering, this is real suffering one. They end up with that. And then of course with that, the faith in the meditation gone. I see a number of monks actually because of that. Not just lay devotees. So I really do not want you all to fall into that. Fall into that category. Yeah. Now, just now as I said that there are monks gave up because of the tension in the head, tension in the neck, and prolonged tension and a prolonged problem. That is to say that when they go back, then they went back, they still have that tension. Then after that, clear. Then when they come back to retreat again, because of their habit, the way that they meditate, very easily they go into that over concentration. And again, they don't realize it, tension build up again. Again, the tension build up. Again and again, the tension build up. After 3 or 4 times with this type of retreat, they gave up on this type of meditation. And so a number of yogis, I've seen that. Now, let's take a look at the another symptom, which is tension. How are we going to overcome it? Now, during the talk in the faculties of effort, as I said that when a yogi push hard, then for some yogis the tension becomes very tense up in the neck, tense up in the head, and then there's a lot of running thoughts starting to coming in, pulling here and running here and there. The body feel very uncomfortable, and then therefore they becomes uneasy. They become very uneasy. So these are the signs. On the other hand, some yogis, when they push on their meditation object, when they try to note their meditation object, they go into like a kind of a tension, which is very is like a locked-in type of tension. Like a locked-in type of tension. It's different from the faculty type, the effort type of tension. Sometimes it's trying to describe this, it's trying to tell you what's the difference between the red apple and the green apple, how the taste is like. Until you really feel it, then only you may know, because it's just a slight difference may be there, So sometimes the concentration type of tension, it's more like lock you in. It lock you in, and one of the signs of it lock you in, there is the mind tends to stay at an object, and it holds on to an object, and it does not want to move or take note of other objects, even if the other objects are more clearer than that current one. The mind does not really want to go to another thing. So this is a sign that the tension is building up, and it comes in like stone in the head, tension in the neck, tension in this one. But the noticing is like more focused onto one thing like that. Try to grip the object and try to hold on to the object. And as I said, that because the faculties is stronger, and then you keep on pushing it and it grows stronger very fast, and then the tension is building up there. And some yogis don't realize that. They thought that it's okay. Nge nge tahan, nge nge lai, push ka, no pain, no gain. Oh, yes. Then they keep on pushing up, push until they finish their sitting, they totally burn out. Some yogis are like that. Some yogis. As I said, some yogis, when they push, they tend to overthink. That means there's they tend to have a lot of thinking starts coming in. That one is faculty type of effort type of imbalance, and then tension builds up. Now this one concentration is like it lock into an object, hold on to an object, and then tension build up. Something like this, something like that. Yeah? So there are two ways all this type of tension is building up on the yogis. So it is good that you take note of how this tension are building up. The different taste of the tension and different taste of the unpleasant feelings that is building up together with the body. Yeah? Yeah. So this one we have to take note. Yeah? And I remind you again, if your mind is alert, your mind is flexible, there's no thoughts, but there's a tension building up on the background, and your mind can still able to note the tension, then that tension is just is another meditation object only. Then you just pay attention to it. So it gets a bit, it gets a bit complicated, when it comes into this type of faculties, because there are very subtle difference is there. So it comes with a lot of trial and error, a lot of experience in the meditation. Then only you realize that there's a minute differences, and therefore, if you know how to take note of it, then you can able to balance on it. Nevertheless, if you do not know what is going on, let's say what better, now is it too much concentration, or is it too much effort right now? You try to not know, you do not know what you are doing. But you know that the tension is there and your mind is not stable, and you know that this thing. Now, if you really do not know anything, let's say, then this time what you do is that you begin to reset again your meditation. Reset here means that you go back to your sitting posture. Forget about your fast rising, passing away, moving this way, that way, how your rising, moving, how your in-breath, out-breath is doing, whatever. Sometimes they can be very interesting, but you know that things are getting haywire at the background already. You know that something is up already. So if you do not know what is happening, how to balance it, then just go back. Reset now. Just go back to your whole body again. Build up that mindfulness again. Build up that mindfulness. Build up that mindfulness again and again and again until you find that the whole mind getting clearer, the tensions reduce a little bit, the body becomes comfortable. Then gently you go back to your rising, falling, or your in-breath, out-breath. Usually when you go back there again, once in a while the mind wants to build up, then again reset, come back again. You cannot reset again. Sometimes you do have to do it a few times until the mind gets better and better and better at it. As I said, here it is important that sometimes we just have to take a few steps back just to bring the mind into equilibrium. Into equanimity, into balance, into the center. So as I said earlier on, if yogis do not know how to do all these things, they keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, then, well, they can get stuck. And many yogis, as I said, they could get stuck. So this is one of the things. Okay? Now, connected with that also, but this time, there's no tension. It is just only the mind is focusing on an object. It's just like it's trying to focus on an object and it does not want to go away. But there's no tension around. Your mind, your body and your mind is still alert and is still clear and you're still very relaxed. And yet the mind trying to stay on the object, and when you try to push it to another object, it doesn't want to go. It just want to stay. But there's no tension, nothing. That also, it shows that the concentration starts to build up already. Now, what can you do with this? Again, here you go back to the whole body sitting. The whole body sitting. It's a very safe way of doing. Now, if you find that this body sitting, if you cannot do it, then there's also another method. And that's where the sitting and touching will be very helpful. Here in the sitting and touching, when you want to arouse effort, okay, together with the mindfulness in order to rebalance the concentration, then the sitting and touching also it's good. Now this time is that if you want to arouse effort, you have to make the mind move from one object to another object. And you want to arouse mindfulness, you have to take note of the characteristic of the object that you are noting. Okay? Now say for example, this time your rising falling is there. And then you note, and then you find that your mind is trying to lock into the rising and falling. And it's stuck there, but there's no tension building up. So what you can do is that you persuade or you slowly push the attention out to another object. For example, if your hands are touching, if your hands are touching. Now, if you find that your hands are touching right now, if you cannot get much of a sensation, then rub it a little bit. Just get some sensation up, just rub it a little bit. In order for the mind the attention to go to the touching of the palms. And then if you can able to get another object in the buttock, then also that will be good. So how do you do this? So now from the rising and falling, you push it to the touching, and you note the touching a little bit more. A little bit more and a little bit faster. Touching. It's like you make it a little bit more, a little bit faster than your usual noting. A little bit more. And then at the same time, you pick up on the sensation. Touching. Oh, warm. You've got to be fast. Then you take note of it. Then after that, the mind tends to go back to the rising and falling. You're aware of the rising and falling for a while, bring it back to the touching again. After that, when you bring it to the touching, if you find that your mind can already starts to able to move, then move to the buttock. Sitting. And then you try to pick up a sensation. A sensation here is like there's a hardness or softness. If you're able to pick up one or two sensations, then you move to the next object. So a faster noting, at the same time you pick up the sensation of that particular object. So a faster noting, it arouses the effort. You pick up on the sensation of the object, then it brings about the mindfulness. So, but therefore, when the mindfulness arises, effort arises, you can able to rebalance back the rising and falling. Rebalance back the whole mind. And then you can go back to a rising, falling, and the mind becomes flexible, much more flexible than before. It's not so fixed and become very hard in the noting. So this is one of the things that perhaps you can take note of. this sitting and touching, one of the great aspect of this sitting and touching is that you can do it to arouse more mindfulness and or more concentration. Or on another hand, you can do it with development of mindfulness and together with the effort, whichever your mind in the current situation. If your mind is too much concentration, you need to build some effort, you need to build some mindfulness, you can also. If the mind is too much concentration, then you want, if it's too much effort, you want to bring up the concentration with the sitting and touching, also possible also. So sitting and touching, it's a very flexible way of meditating. Not rising, falling. Rising and falling is there only. Sitting and touching is like you can able to move the mind. Your attention can move the mind to a different objects. Then you become very helpful. Now, a lot of times when you do the sitting and touching, a lot of yogis tend to arouse one thing but lacking of that mindfulness. So here, for example, if they just take note of sitting, touching, sitting, like that. They don't take note of the characteristic of what is, whether it's warm or cold or what is happening there. Then when you don't take note of those things, then you only arouse mindfulness only. Then after that, what happened is that your mind from over concentration, then you're going to shift over into over effort. Then it's not right. Then sometimes when you go over effort, the whole mind becomes so bright, so clear, as if like you're looking at the sun like that. But you cannot meditate. Your mind is not flexible to notice what is going on. So bright sometimes. Then slowly the thinking starts coming in already. So you got to have mindfulness. The key ingredient here is mindfulness. So make sure that you all remember those things. Now, usually the biggest problem of over concentration is the over concentrated until the mind do not know anything. That is one of the biggest problem for samatha meditators, especially in the sitting. They don't see that much in the walking, of course, because you're walking, your legs are moving. But in the sitting, and they tend to have a lot of over concentration without they realizing it. For example, they take up the in-breath, out-breath. They take up the in-breath, out-breath was clear because the mindfulness was there initially. And because of they don't have a continuous mindfulness, therefore when the later part, when the mindfulness starts to drop, the concentration also starts to drop a little bit. But mindfulness drop faster than the concentration. The concentration going down, but because of the nature of the concentration is there, then the in-breath, out-breath become tinier and tinier and tinier and tiny. Then you sit down there, pleasant, very nice. You thought that you're having a good meditation, but this is actually not. It's just concentration is good. Your concentration is lessening, but your mindfulness is going even further. If your mindfulness is in the balance, your mind doesn't go like that. Your mind is calm, but your mind is alert, clear and alert. But this time, the alertness is going less and less and less until you sit down there for 2 or 3 hours. This is a very clear over concentration already. But people may regard those things as jhana, or very deep concentration, or upachara samadhi, or apana samadhi. Those type of this one, these are not. This is just imbalance of the concentration. Now, if they are being taught to get out of it, then well and good. But most of the time, what I heard is that some teachers encourage the yogis to do like that, to go further and further into it. And then with that type of meditation, every time you sit for the samatha meditation, you want to go into that particular type of calm, that particular type of pleasantness. So you slowly let the mind, let the alertness, slowly let it go, and then disappear. Then that's why sometimes I with my I think with my conjecturing, a lot of time people regard jhana that they can able to attain within like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Most probably is because of that over concentration and the whole mind getting into a very quiet, peace state of mind. Now, when the samatha meditator, when they go into a vipassana meditation also, their tendency of the mind goes into over concentration are very strong, because samatha or vipassana is just a change of objects only. But the habit of the mind, habit of the faculties is to always to go into that particular way that you have developed before. And when you develop that habit before in the samatha to go into like that, then every time you go into vipassana, also you will go into in that particular way. So that is one of the problems, because our mind is not so easily to be flexible. Our mind is a bit one-track mind, hard mind. So we need to have a number of a great understanding of faculties, and also you must have a teacher or teachers to able to guide you out from that situation, the whole mental situation in that way. So here, when you are doing samatha meditation, so if you happen to come to your mind is getting into this one, before you go into too much, hopefully you can able to cut it off somewhere. And if you find that if your mindfulness, your alertness, you cannot control it anymore, then this time your sitting meditation is not a good posture anymore. You should get up and do a bit of walking. Build up a bit of mindfulness, then only you come back to go back to your in-breath, out-breath as your samatha object, or go to your metta as your samatha object. If you keep on going like that, for a long, long time, you get stuck. So sorry to say, you get stuck. And people get stuck for 20, 30, 40 years. Or they don't even realize that at all. And they thought that they already got first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana because of that type of calmness that they are going through. So hopefully you don't go into it. As I said, samatha again, you need to have alert mind. But the alert mind has come with a calm mind. Not that calm, but not alert at all. It has to be calm and alert. That means your in-breath, out-breath, you can able to notice with a calm, clear mind, without any much of distraction. Then your object is clear to you. If your nimitta, your mental created object, arises with the in-breath, out-breath, then the nimitta also is clear to you. Not like the nimitta is like hidden under clouds, and then whether you could see, cannot see it. That means the mindfulness is, that means it's not strong enough yet. That one, the mind has to be alert, it has to be clear. Okay, this is part of samatha thing. Now in the vipassana meditation also, some yogis also go into that. They watch the rising and falling, or in breath, out breath in a vipassana way. They see the arising, changing, and so on. Then, then after that, because of their character, they also go into very quiet state of mind. All the rising, falling movement like that, it's not clear anymore. So do the same thing. If that happened to you, you better come out of it. Sometimes like you're going inside a tunnel, you go inside a tunnel and then far, far away, you could see a light at the end of the tunnel, and then you try to go into the tunnel, and then you go into the light like that. Oh, you think you want to go into the light? Then you got a problem. That is all the signs of over concentration is building up already. So when your object is not moving, that's why it's good to take a moving object like an in-breath, out-breath, or rising, falling. There are wind object and there are moving object. Moving object, you say that, hey, how come the rising and falling is not moving anymore? And then it's easy to take note of it. And then you realize that, hey, something is something wrong already. You take a stationary object. For example, you take a touch object. If you take a touch object, that is a stationary object. Then you nothing moving. Then your mind sometimes it tends to go into lockdown, quiet and nothing much. So a moving object, it's a good indicator, to give you a sign that, hey, something is still moving, something is not moving. Then you can able to realize that, well, the concentration is there or not. Or the concentration is overbalanced or still you're in the state of balance. So therefore, it is good for us to take note of it. So as I said, some yogis' tendency, they like to go into that quietness. Some yogis' tendency, they tend to go into a lot of thinking. All depends on the yogi. Now, some yogis, for example, even in the lifting, pushing, dropping, when they're walking, if you go slower, some people, they thought, hey, I'm going to push my mind, myself, see whether I got anything to notice or not when I go slower. Some yogis, when they do that, they go into overthinking. Some yogis, when they do that, they go with that, and then the over-concentration comes up. So again, each and every one can be very different. And sometimes some yogis, they pandai, they go back, they tell other yogis, you see, I walk, and then the whole building shake, I walk, the whole, then others think that, you must be crazy. I walk, I never feel that way. I walk a bit, a lot of thinking coming in. Different yogi have different experiences. It's just a balance here and there, balance here and there. So again, this one, depending on the characteristic of the yogi. If you know that your character is like that, then you tend to be, you just have to be watchful and be mindful of your character. And nowadays, honestly, I think the way I look at most of the yogis, mostly it's on the over effort side. A lot of thinking side. Concentration, those with over concentration, and I mean, periodically, and then they go into over, or more or less, they go into over concentration. That one is less. Mostly is over efforting a lot. Why? Because of our daily life. Our daily life, we think of all kinds of things. When do we really sit down and meditate and calm the mind down? No, a lot of us thinking here and thinking there. And together with the COVID right now, every day you think about the numbers going up, going down, and getting fearful, getting worried. all these types of thinking is happening. That's why it's not easy for a lot of people to be calm. Even right now, you want to do meditation also. Retreat. It's very difficult, not easy. It's really not easy. You just want to go out and you're so fearful whether Should I go out? Should I not go out? Should I go out? Where should I go? How fast should I go? How fast to come back? Wow, there's a lot of worry inside there. Then we can understand the condition is like this. Now, what else? Uh, now, this imbalance also, a lot of times yogis are also impatient for progress. Impatient. They are very impatient for progress. Sometimes I've met with some yogis in the past, even some monks also. They are very, very persistent. Sometimes I think I want to buy, the horns of the bull, the horns of the bull, and I give it to them because they are meditate like a bull like that, Oh, keep on rushing, rushing. Everything want to knock through. Cannot, very impatient. Very impatient. A lot of times, you get into a lot of problems of the meditation. Now, even all of us sometimes are impatient also. It may not be our character to be impatient, but once in a while, when you come into the experience become very good now. Oh, today the meditation, rising, falling, very good. Everything is so nice, so good. This sitting. So you push you already. You put your eyes there. You keep on seeing already. You're not going to let go already. Then is where your impatience starts coming in. Because usually for many yogis, even they come for 2 weeks or 3 weeks retreat, a lot of times per day, there are sittings per day. One day, 7 sittings usually I recommend for a yogi per hour sitting. Each sitting 1 hour. Usually, 5 to 6 sittings they have, it's all not clear. All sleepy, a lot of thinking, a lot of this one, see nothing much. Then after that, one single sitting, so clear, like, you get a goal suddenly drop onto your lap, Then you're going to secure it well. Then you thought that, the whole day I haven't been progressing well. Then that particular sitting already. Then that is where you're going to explode. Either with the faculties of concentration or the effort. So just do. Just like when you are doing cooking, when you're impatient, you thought that you're going to turn on the fire a bit further, a bit more, then you're going to get charcoal later on. You're going to get a nice food, overcooked or so on. So here, faculties are like that. Faculties are like this. Now, these faculties, it gets better. I mean, if you learn to balance here and there, over time, it gets... There you are. So, as I said over here, on these faculties, they are a lot of trial and error. Over time, you have to keep on learning new ways of how to deal with your own imbalance of that faculties. But I can assure you, the more that you learn this trial and error, you get better. It gets better. It gets better. And over time, I noticed that over time, you get used to them that a little bit when they're going to happen, you're already aware of that, then you can able to come back to the balance already. So to my practice also the same thing. Then here right now is that I make sure that all the time to make sure that don't be impatient, make sure that there's mindfulness coming in before you want to do big things. You want to try to note this, try to note arising, passing away, this and that. Before that, mindfulness come in first. Make sure that your mindfulness come in first, and then you can solve a lot of problem. You can solve a lot of problem, and also if your problem come in, it's easier to solve, so that your progress can keep on going. Now here, when we look at this, all these five faculties of what? Let me go back to the screen sharing. Hey, where's my? Today I go back to my screen sharing. Hold on now. Okay. Where's the Zoom again? Then go back to screen sharing again. All right. Now. Now. Here, as I said, these are the faculties. We have recovered all the five faculties here of faith, effort, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. All right. When we are meditating, when your object is everything clear, that means that your faculties are in the state of balance. When everything is clear, when everything is, that means you can able to notice your rising, falling, you can notice your pain clearly and so on. That means your faculties are in the optimum level. When the faculties are in the optimum level, that means the power also is at the optimum level too. That is to say, when it happens, the agitation don't come in, the laziness don't come in, the negligence, skeptical doubt, delusion, they don't come in. Then this thing, they go together. They go together. A lot of times, we are most of the time we are dealing with the faculties more, because this is where it gets imbalanced. The power, it comes in a sense that it prevents that, let's say, the laziness from coming in. It prevents that negligence from coming in, or agitation is coming in. If the agitation is coming in, the laziness is coming in, that means you have to deal with them like a sloth and torpor already. So you deal with them like a hindrance already. Yeah? If it able to penetrate the mind, that means this, you have to deal with the hindrances already. So when the faculties are, when your mind is strong, when your mind is at optimum level, that means the faculties and the power is at optimum level. So you have to have that balanced faculties, and keep on learning about balance again and again and again until enlightenment takes place. When the enlightenment takes place, there's appana samadhi. When there is enlightenment take place, then that time you don't have to balance anything. That time everything is in balance for you, automatically balanced for you. But then after that, when you come out from that enlightenment, let's say first time you get enlightenment, after that you come out again, then the mind is still quite balanced because of the appana samadhi is there. Because of that appana samadhi, if you don't understand, that is the appana samadhi. That's your absorption concentration or your fixed concentration. When it's there, quite, if you just come out from it, then it's not a problem. But later on, even you are enlightened ones also, you still have to balance your faculties also. As I said also, the Arahants also, when they meditate, they also have to need to check their faculties too. Because here again, faculties, they are not unwholesome thing. They are wholesome mental state. They are not being eradicated. So they too have some degree of imbalance can take place also. So take note of these five faculties. Now, in the next talk, in the coming Monday, because you see, when we talk about all these faculties, we're going to be looking into the minute details of how to do this in your meditation, in your sitting, in your walking. Yes, those are very important. But there's another aspect also that we look in the more external part of it. what you should get ready before you come into a meditation retreat in order to tune the mind so that your faculties are there, are directed to the mental development. Therefore, when your basis, when your the way you view things, the way you act, then when you have those things ready, then when you come into the meditation, then it helps to sharpen those faculties further. So that one we'll talk on it on Monday. So on Friday we have the Q&A. So if you have any questions on the Dhamma, or on the practice, or on the Dhamma talk, then you can send those questions to Sister Hun Ling. Okay, so that's it for tonight.